you can't replace the I could have the Alexa, I could have the super Baltars, I could have WC4, I could have all the smorgasbord in the world, but if the story's not there, if the creative's not there, even if the acting's not even there, it's like no matter how well I do my job, 9 times out of 10 the indie with great performances and not enough budget and cool locations I'm probably going to prefer that just because 9 times out of 10 it reads better on screen.
Welcome to Set Life, where we tell stories from our industry. I'm Kelly Leger, and this is Amber Buteau.
All right, welcome guys to Set Life. I'm here, Dan Rubottom with
Shider Davina.
We're guest hosting today, and we've got a really exciting guest here named Andrew Parkerton, right? Did I say it right? Parkerton. Parkerton. All right. So tell us a little bit about what you do, what you kind of, or maybe you guys know each other, right?
Yes, we actually did meet about a little bit more than a year ago.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit more than a year ago,
Yeah, and I think from when I met you, you were just like fresh, like moving from a different city into Houston, and just watching your progression over just like social media from afar, I'm like, oh my gosh, mind blown. And I bumped into you at a Toby Uruguay shoot.
Yeah.
Like you were ACing for Duncan.
Yep.
I'm like, wow, how did he get here? Because I'm a fresh green DP, and seeing you like just work your way, like coming from a different city. I'm like, I've been here pretty much half my life. I'm like, wow, I want to know. Give me the sauce. Give me the. But before that, I want to go all the way back. Like, what's a background?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so funny that you say like you're fresh and like the outsider looking in and IG and all these things. It's like, I really relate to that. Like, I still feel fresh, and I still feel like I have so much to learn. And I think that's definitely something I want to preface before coming on. Like, through and through, like, I have so much more to grow, and yes, I shoot, and yes, I'll AC, yes, I, key grip or gaff, and, but really it's like, again, I have so much more to kind of grow and learn and yearn from. So it's like, I feel like everything I say today, I would like take with a grain of salt. So, but yeah, like, my story was, I think I was I'd say about like 16. I was like, this is what I want to do. Like shooting and being on set and filming and hitting the record and like all that, like I just immediately fell in love with. And I think I was super fortunate to really realize how integral the community was. And like I just fell into such a talented group of filmmakers really young.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting that some of those filmmakers I'm still working to this day.
Wow.
At like 16.
Wow.
It's like literally I'm flying to Los Angeles and shooting a project with those same filmmakers, which is so exciting. And then, those people really kept me super sharp and super inspired. And every single project, it's like, well, what can we do more? What can we do better? What can we do to elevate the project? So, I think that really helped. And so that background of indies from about 16 to about 18, just like, 6 or 7, passion projects with friends.
The grinding stage.
Yeah, exactly. The grinding phase where you're kind of figuring it out, right? It's so fun to like left rigging and, overexposing and like you don't know NDs. And,
I literally figured out ND like probably like 2 years ago. I'm like, nobody told me this. I didn't go to school.
Like internal ND, what does that mean?
Yeah, like variable, what?
Yeah. And it was nice kind of having that at first, and kind of I think that was kind of creating those parameters of like, okay, this is when I need to work on an image, like looking back at your previous work. And that's what really helps when you just have a foundational, you just need to start, right? You need to literally just make stuff, and you need to have a baseline of like, okay, that sucked. Like that was trash. Like that project can be better. And I know I could have done better. And when you watch those projects, you look back. So it's really fun to, especially when you keep working with the same director, you can have a little watch party of like, you have a brewski, and you can kind of like think about, oh, LOL, remember, remember when that light fell, and remember when that whole take was soft and we still used it, and all those things of like, you think about, okay, that was the last one, what's the next one? And it's really nice to, have that background. And having that baseline was great. And I also was doing photography. I was collaborating with just local artists, and I actually, kind of fun fact that you didn't know, I don't think, I actually had because my background was in film photography for about 4 years before.
Wow.
So just in the darkroom with enlargers and just pretty decent.
The real deal.
Yeah, the real deal. And
I'm a send off to the lab kind of guy.
Yeah, no, man, I love
it in the dark red room, right?
Yeah, man,
Like,
I love the dark.
And the smell of those chemicals,
Yeah,
like
man,
it's still
I'm probably
smell,
crazy
yeah.
because of it.
Yeah.
It helps.
I know. I really like the dark room. It was kind of like a very zen place for me. It's
Yeah.
like no one could talk to me in the dark room, and it's like
Mhm.
that's where I was like, okay.
Or should they?
Yeah. Honestly, it's funny. My phone is literally still red. I can have the red filter on, and I just kept it on for years now.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, no, like I think I actually was super blessed to have a piece actually in the Houston Center of Photography.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it's like I did that path where it's like, okay, I've been to galleries, I've had that exhibitions, I've done the portraits, and I just was like, I love it, but it's super isolating and it's super kind of solo. And
Yeah.
I think film was like, I get to meet so many unique and interesting artists every single day. And 9 times out of 10, I'm meeting someone new. And 9 times out of 10, they're interesting or cool or, maybe not always the nicest, but, they could be potentially career defining. So you really never know who you're going to meet, which I think is such just an exciting kind of path and journey. So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please.
How did you bridge that 16-year-old self? What was the gap from there to going to college?
Yeah, so college was interesting, and I think, again, I'm going to say blessed, and I'm going to say fortunate, and I think I was really fortunate to have the resources to go to a really great, just small arts college, and I was lucky because it was state funded. So it's not like I'm paying the NYU or the UCLA or like the SCADs or, I'm not really paying these really, really high tuitions.
Right.
But I'm still getting an arts conservatory background. And I took 14 AP tests and I walked in with 39 credits. So I didn't have to take a single general ed.
Yeah.
And I just took
You were a
film
smart
classes.
high school
Wow.
student.
I was nerdy.
Yeah.
I still am nerdy. I'm still very nerdy. But then in my mornings, I would volunteer at a local rental house and then take film classes, and then on the weekends crew, and then show up to the loadouts, show up to just sets, just like try to make it work, connect with Upper Classman. I picked up rock climbing to connect with Upper Classman cinematographers, and I still rock climb to this day, which says something, I guess.
Yeah. So I want to know your thoughts, and because I never got to go to film school, and for all you guys watching, this is actually my mentor. I learned a lot from Dan. So this is my film school.
You can blame me for.
So if ever I make a mistake,
Man, it's really controversy.
Overexposed.
It's like, wow, like
this is the man.
you got a 5-to-1 ratio. That's crazy.
Very
all
dramatic.
tungsten all the time.
Yep.
Really?
Dude, I love tungsten.
Yeah. HMI. I want the whole deal.
Yep.
Yep.
Kinos, man. Let's bring it back.
Hey, man, let's do it.
But yes, I want to know about your thoughts on film school.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I'm really hesitant to recommend it, like just a blanket statement to everyone. I think one of the best things that's really helped my career was just the focus, pun intended. I've been very vocal about what I want to do and what I want and what my career aspirations are, right? So I don't necessarily think that going to a school and going to an institution is get out of jail free card.
Right.
I mean, think about how many students go to UCLA, NYU, Stanford, a lot of these schools a year. And they could be doing cool stuff. They could not be. And I definitely think that some people, specifically at UNCSA where I went to, some had great energies and some hustled and grinded and kept their head down and just put in the time, put in the effort and made great stuff.
Yeah.
Some didn't.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I think
it's what you make of it. Right?
Yeah, and
of
it's
that
like
opportunity.
What is your financial situation? What is the climate of the world right now? Right? Like, would I recommend someone within the next year, however the work's gonna go?
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Like, especially it's like when you're thinking about the investment of not only monetary, but your time.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, and it's like, you're spending. It's like some of these schools. It's like you're spending 50, 60, 70K a year. In theory, you could also just fund those projects, and
You could have a really nice grip truck.
yeah, that's true. It's like
I had a friend of mine that he gave his son a choice when he was graduating. I'll send you to this really good school, or I'll buy you a new Sprinter and load it up with everything you want.
Wow.
He chose the Sprinter,
Wow.
and he's a working gaffer in town still to today. He's a great.
Yeah. Gave that man a fishing rod.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah, and I
Teach him
think
how to fish, right?
I mean, it's just really career goals, right? It's like, I think the nice thing was figuring out what exactly the type of projects I wanted to do, right? And like okay, it's like cool, like I know what it means to shoot a Alexa Mini, Cook Pan Crow, like 10-ton box truck, like M18s and
all the good toys.
yeah, all the good toys, right? You have access to all those things. Not every institution has those toys.
No.
So I think the big thing is like, if you really do want to go to a school like that, and if you really do want to, if you're super serious, I feel like you do your research. So, I did 4 kind of summer camps around like 16 and 17, and it's like, okay, I'm not really crazy about UT. I'm not really interested in UT. Okay, cool. Boston Emerson, not for me. Like, and I kind of just like whittled it down, and then it's like, wow, I was incredibly impressed by the infrastructure UNCSA had, and it's like, okay, cool. Like I can work with 10Ks, bet. Like, I know how to run distro for that. It's like,
nice.
I can go to I audited the stage electrics class from the kind of the theater tech kind of people. So it's like, cool. I can solder. I can build cable from scratch. Like I can DMX program. Like
those are real skills you can apply.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know how well my writing, directing, I don't know how well my peers are outside of the people that are very marketable. Like our production designers do well, our editors do well, our cinematographers do super well right out the gate because our scales are just so marketable.
Yep.
So then it's like, when you say, it's like, oh my gosh, like how are you able to, a year here, how are you able to really just like,
like from the jump, you already like, within a year, he's already worked with Nike, Red Bull,
Wow,
Buff Bunny.
Yeah.
I love Heidi. Heidi's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ground zap stuff.
Yeah, and it's again, it's like having that baseline of like, okay, cool, like I know how to lead a team. Like to me, it's a lot more of the broad strokes, right? It's like, how do you lead a team? How do you allocate resources? I think the nice thing is shooting all those indies. It's like, all right, we're gonna give you $1,000 for 7 days. Manage that gear-wise.
Yep.
It's like, okay, how can
like
you
stretch that dollar?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Stretching that
'Cause
dollar.
if you can do it with that, then
Yeah.
we'll entrust you with more.
So someone having less will like, sometimes I get overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't know what to do with 90,000. Like,
Yeah. I
you
mean,
would if
Yeah.
you had the script that you were looking at, like how many locations, then you'd be like, yeah,
true.
yeah,
it's
and
all scaling.
yeah, scaling's great. It's like, and I'm in the sense of like, do I need 50 units, or do I want like a team of people that I can know that can man that
Right.
those units? Or
Yeah.
I'm a lot more focused on like, not as much the tool, but the person that I'm
Mhm.
giving that tool to. I'd rather give a great gaffer, a tungsten kit and Kinos than get the best LED kit and
Absolutely.
a rookie swing,
Right.
or like, someone I don't think that's going to be what I need creatively. So yeah, and again, like shooting indies really helps. And it's like 9 times out of 10, it's like, it's not going to be great on the wallet, right? Sometimes you're going to be in the negative, honestly, shooting these indies, but it's like, you build up this amazing portfolio of like, wow, like that project was great. Like I still can put that to my reel.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 or 7 years old project
Mm.
that you just shot in.
So you've shot some indie features or shorts or
all
both?
shorts.
Okay.
All shorts. I think I'm just really not interested in long form, because I feel like 9 times out of 10, it's like, I think it's really difficult to synthesize quality, not just from our standards from cinematographers, but like also like the actual filmmaking. I don't really feel like most cases, unless if you were literally like, there's this beautiful film called Burning Cane where an 18-year-old DP director literally shot and directed it, and it's like amazing and it's beautiful. But like 9 times out of 10, you're not those like
right.
auteurs. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you need to experience life. You need to do more things to really understand how to tell
Mhm.
a long form story. Like I tell a lot of directors, especially my age, are like, I'm ready to do my next feature. I was like, okay, master the short first. Make like an undeniably perfect short,
Yeah.
and then do your feature.
Right.
It's like drawing a circle before you could do the Mona Lisa.
Learn storytelling on something at a lot lower stakes.
Yeah.
First.
I'm actually doing my first one on Saturday, like a 3-page.
Super exciting.
I'm like,
Nice.
we're gonna be in an attic for the whole day.
Oh, sweet.
That's
So-
super
something
exciting.
great. And I'm
Get
so
a fan.
excited. Like, yeah,
Get a fan or an AC unit or you're
Oh.
gonna be in an attic. You said all day.
like an attic, like an attic.
What's the temperature gonna be on Saturday?
Well, thank you God that it's like high of 80s today.
Oh,
so
good.
hopefully-
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a little bit of favor.
But you know,
So-
Houston weather, it's gonna be like.
Yeah, you never know. You never
in
know.
like 2 days, it's gonna
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's gonna be 104. That's
Mhm.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah, but I'm so
Oh, that'd be
excited.
fun.
Yeah, but I really want to know practical steps for the listeners, like moving from a different city, like, and then how do you
Yeah.
like when you land, you what are practical
As
steps
far as like
that,
networking and
Mhm.
meeting and
Yeah, and I think, I think the first thing I definitely leaned on was people that I had a previous relationship with. So a good friend of mine, Fabian Montejano, he was literally someone I grew up with in church with,
Mhm.
and just a friend and like a mentor and someone I
Mhm.
really I knew he was in some some vicinity of film, but I didn't know what exactly. So I was like, I would like to catch up with him, obviously from a work standard, but also just like friend to friend, like
Yeah.
let's get coffee, like
Yeah.
how are you
Yeah.
doing? And we just talked, and like he connected me with Orlando Briones, and,
oh yeah,
and again, it's kind of like this
Yeah,
this
We've
this
had him on
domino
the show
effect.
friend of the
before.
show.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Orlando is amazing, and
Yeah.
and also that's like something I wanted to say about just the show of like, it feels I feel so honored because you've hosted so many people that I respect and have really helped my journey, like
Mhm.
Orlando and Justin Bowers and Reese Moffat and people like Dan Diaz. Oh my gosh, Dan Diaz, you can't,
Yeah.
the
The
GOAT, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's really interesting to first start at that one coffee and
Mm.
just saying like, hey, like this is my story, like okay, cool, I just wrapped 31 days feature, like let's go, like I'm ready, like Alexa Mini Steadicam,
Yeah.
wide open, like I
Yeah.
like I can do it, I know I
Yeah.
can do it, and I know I'm ready. And it was kind of a tough feeling at first, right? It's like you could definitely feel like you're at the peak of Mount Rushmore. I mean,
Mhm.
as is this whole industry, right? It goes that ebbs and flows of like, wow, I'm invincible, and now
Yep.
it's
And
like,
then the next day you're like, oh,
I have
my
no
life
goals.
is
Yeah,
What did
yeah,
I do?
worth
yeah.
nothing.
And then you're going through that cycle of like, what did I do on the last set to like not get
Yeah.
calls anymore, and like
Mhm.
it's that kind of that cycle. But I think when I first moved here, it's like, okay, who are immediately in my network that I know it's not parasitic for me to try to
Right.
immediately just try to connect with them. And
Mhm.
so I we talked, and it was actually, the timing was just nothing short of just a miracle. Like within 2 or 3 weeks, he was like, hey, I'm gonna be on a National Geographic show, do you want to just PA?
Wow.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, yeah, man, I'm totally down. Yeah, and it was great because I similarly was very vocal about what I want to do, and it was actually really sweet. Again, just PA at first, coffees and driving people, and then it was a small team. It was about 6 of us, so we had to do a bit of everything, right?
Mhm.
Like a little bit of helping sound, a little bit of helping production, a little bit of just kind of swinging. And by the end of it, I was like, helping pull focus and doing lens swaps, and like before you know it, I ended up showing the DP my reel, and he was like, why don't you show me this first, right? And it was just so interesting to have. I think that it's a great, soundbite, right? But like, yeah, I just wrapped on a feature, and like, oh, I'm about to go on National Geographic for
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
month and a half, right? So I think that really helped get people on my radar, or at least get me on their radar.
Yeah.
Yeah, super, 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 super fortunate for that. And then, just kept working and kept grinding, and just like a little bit of that time was like occasionally just coming in and just volunteering for a couple different sets. And then again, it's like people like Captive take you a little bit more seriously when they see the work. Like people like Orlando takes you a little bit seriously when they see the work. Like people that are
Mhm.
veterans and are established here do.
Yeah.
And like even you, it's like, right, like I think the big thing with me was just like showing people the years of work.
Yeah.
Because when you see like a 20,
Yeah.
23-year-old, nerdy, pasty glasses looking kid, and he's like, yeah, sure, you've been all these things, and then it's like you just wow, it's like, oh my gosh, you have shot on you actually have shot on 35
Yeah.
millimeter and
Yeah.
16, and
Yeah.
then you have 25 shorts under your belt.
Because you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
In reality, 16 years old. Was that the first time you had
Yeah.
picked up a camera,
Yep.
so to speak?
And
or?
it's so funny. Back in the day, like just in high school, like you're like, oh man, these cameras suck, and you're thinking like, man, the C100 actually is not that bad of a camera.
Was that
And
what
like,
you started?
Yeah,
on?
literally, my
Wow.
first camera was
Oh,
a C100.
man.
Wow.
Like, and
Yeah.
then also 5Ds. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you
Goated.
get the 5D at
yeah,
all?
goated. Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Like literally, I still see 5Ds to this day.
Yeah.
It's an interesting. It's super interesting because it's like we're at this new era of like, every camera coming out, like I feel like once a month is
Mhm.
like the next best camera, and like
Yeah.
it's really hard not to fall down that click hole of like
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
these, people talking about you have to buy this and you're a cinematographer.
Yep,
and you
I'm
have
on
to-
I'm on B&H Deal Zone every day at 11 p.m.
I love that. Just refreshing.
Yeah, but you know what to do with it.
One of the best.
You've proven yourself. I can use this camera.
Sweat
or
equity.
this.
I've put in the
I,
time.
I have the screenshots. This is like crazy, and it's kind of adding myself. But lens rentals, they
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys got this too. If you guys didn't get this, then I'm gonna feel added. But lens rentals actually emailed me saying you up, like literally like you up, like Lens Boy or something on my actual email, and it was like a promotion, and I was like,
Are you up,
this is
maybe?
like
Time to-
genius
time
Gen
to-
Z marketing.
Yeah.
I'm like.
Mhm.
I didn't get
Yeah.
that because I don't even know what it means.
Yeah, man, and
Yeah.
I
yeah.
think-
2 a.m. text from a girl or a guy.
Okay,
Basically. So relate that.
so I'm
that's
getting,
why
I'm
I
getting,
just get it.
Yes, exactly.
I'm getting those
Happily
2 a.m.
married.
texts from Lens Reynolds. I love my life.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
no,
love lens
that's
rentals,
hilarious.
but yeah, they
Yeah.
market to me differently.
New
I'd hope
age.
so.
It's a
I-
totally new age.
Yeah.
I love that though. That strikes a chord now. It makes you like, yeah, I'm gonna go with my friend Lens Rental.
I mean, they've got great deals.
That's
Sponsor me,
funny.
Lens Reynolds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh man, but I mean, I think, I think the gear is it's supplementary, right? It's not like you can't replace the. I could have the Alexa, I could have the super Baltars, I could have
Mhm.
WC4, I could have all the smorgasbord in the world, but if the story's not there,
Mm.
if the creative's not there, even if the acting's not even there, it's like
Mhm.
no matter how well I do my job,
yeah,
9 times out of 10, the indie with great performances and not enough budget and cool locations I'm probably gonna prefer that just
Yeah.
because
Wow.
9 times out of 10 it reads better on screen. So it's like nowadays it's like, especially when I'm sussing out a project to work on, I don't necessarily ask like how much money can you give me. It's like, okay, like how are you allocating all of the budget? It's like,
yeah,
do we have a budget for locations? Do we
Mhm.
have a budget for insurance?
Mhm.
yeah,
Do we have a budget for actually like decent cast?
yeah.
Or are we just winging it
Yeah.
and giving me 2K and
Yep.
for the weekend?
Right, and then you gotta do it all and
Right.
Mhm.
struggle or whatever. So, do you have any like advice for other filmmakers, maybe your age, maybe a little younger, something that can help them, like when they get on set? Maybe somebody that hasn't gone to film school
Mm-hmm.
or hasn't had very much experience. How should they behave when they get on set?
Yeah, I
As
think
a PA or whatever.
I feel like set etiquette is such a, like, no one's gonna tell you how to behave on set.
Right.
They're just gonna not hire you when you don't behave correctly.
That's true.
It's like
Yeah.
no one's gonna say like, hey, like, I think there's a really nice proximity of like, if you're shooting something,
Yeah.
and I'm a grip, right? Not a key, not a gaffer, not a first or second. If I'm just a grip and I'm
Yeah.
like right here, just like hovering behind
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
in your process, in your way,
Right.
that's like a red flag. So
Mhm.
it's like, and I get it, right? You want to be so helpful and you want to be a part of it and you want to be
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
But I think one of the best things is like, do your job to the best of your ability. Take maybe like 10 steps back, be within like an eye shot,
Mhm.
especially if like you've got best boys and especially if you got like key grip gaffers, like if you have that chain of command, like just be around so you're not like no one hates no one hates more than like a grip or a swing or a second that's like you don't know where they are.
Yeah.
That's like
Right.
the biggest pet peeve. It'd be
Yeah.
one thing, it's like, hey, 10-2, 10-1, like gotta
Yep.
I'm gonna grab water, like
Yeah.
let me know if you want anything from Crafty, like
Mhm.
communicate when you're gone, but
Right.
nothing nothing is more frustrating than hearing
Where's
where's my gaffer?
Yeah.
Like where's my key grip? Like
Mhm.
where? Like nothing is more. It's like time. Like
you don't need them until you need them.
right? Yeah, no kidding. Like,
Always.
I don't know, and different things. Like I think trying to just be super respectful of the order of operations. Right? It's like I think a lot of really talented people, especially when they're young, will just have this attitude of like production design, screw those people, right? Like like sound, whatever. Like, and it's like so funny because it's like, dude, those people are probably or probably not gonna recommend you. So it's like I'm gonna get a recommendation from the PA I was nice to. I'm gonna get a recommendation from the crafty person that was just super. They did the best of their job, and I didn't complain about the food.
Right.
I'm gonna get a recommendation from the people that are just literally doing their job. So it's like some people, especially I feel like G&E, it's like, you know, they're working hard, they're doing their thing, but like sometimes they could have kind of uppity attitudes, and then they don't want to work with them
Mhm.
because they're known to be the hard to work with gaffer. Or,
Well, you can get recommendations from somebody you don't expect
Yeah.
to have been observing you.
Mm.
Like you said, like, I mean, I've called sound people. I've called for G&E recommendations.
Yep.
Like because I'm going to a town, I don't know anyone, and so he's like, well, I don't really know their lighting skills. They seem to be good at that, but they're really good. They're cool to hang around with,
absolutely.
and I would like to work with them on
Well,
set, kind of person.
You know, it's like, man, if I have to spend like 16 hours with you,
Yeah.
it like
better be someone
You
enjoyable.
like-
right, and I definitely think there's a balance, right? It's like I think especially the more sets I'm on, I try to be really cognizant of the energy that I'm bringing, and I think especially if I'm leading a team, I try to be a lot more like chill. Like I really think that the energy you bring on, especially top down, is so contagious. So it's like if I'm stressed, the rest of my team's stressed.
Right.
And the last thing I need is my first to be stressed. The last
Right.
thing I need is my gaffer to be yeah, exactly. Like, you know, I just like, but I mean, it's a balance, right? And I think the more and more I shoot, I'm definitely trying to choose my battles of like, okay, like, oh man, that menace arm's kind of a scary rig. Like I'm or like, you know, that you know, like, man, we're an hour and a half behind.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like, you know, okay, oh, great. Like the Joker 800 bulb just popped and we didn't have another one. Like, okay, like,
Yep.
just take those moments of like box breathing, you know, like actually it'll be okay. And it's like, I learned this on the feature of like, especially safety. When it comes to safety, it's like, these are just movies. This is just like, just movies, just a commercial, just a music video, you know. Yes, work your hardest. Yes, do all these things, but like never compromise your safety or your well-being or like any of those things to go the extra mile, which is great and I think is super admirable. But I think again, it's just a single day.
It's not
like,
worth risking
Right.
life and limb.
right.
Although sometimes people will say anything for the shot, you know.
Yeah, anything
Right.
for the shot, anything for the gram.
And I've been there, right? Like I remember this one project. I was literally like, I was laying in like a patch of thorns, like literally, like it's just
What am I
like-
doing?
Yeah.
Right, and that's I thought that same. I was like, I don't even like the shot. Like, I'm like, I hate the shot.
It's probably not gonna make it in the Cubs.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, whatever. You know, we're here. But you know, it's like, and again, like harping back earlier, it's like that's why you have to shoot those indies, and that's why you have to be like, okay, lol, I don't need to do that. Like, I don't need to put my whole arms out literally in
you literally cut the shot of like, so you're like, oh, I know the process now. I know what's like the must-haves and nice-to-haves, and what's next for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting. We're in a very interesting climate, I think, right now in the industry, and it's like, it's so fascinating hearing like, I don't know about y'all, and I don't want to speak for anyone's kind of like their schedules or how busy it's been or how busy it's not been for them, but it's so interesting because I feel like a lot of the people in LA and a handful of people I know in New York are just like dead and slow, and it's just like so
Scary times.
Very scary times. So, you know, I think, you know, I want to say like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna shoot the blah 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 blah. We're gonna Red Bull 2 is coming out, right? Like blah blah, like those things that I want to manifest and all the fun things, but you really never know. I mean, I'd love to shoot more branded, documentaries have been so exciting. I think I love the stories that they've been telling, and super impactful and super interesting kind of work. And I think I'd love to shoot a great narrative. It's just really kind of it comes down to the right narrative. Because again, it's like when you shoot over 25 narratives, it's like the script has to be really unique, and I think that the director has to either be fresh or bring something to the table that you really feel like it's worth it, or investing into that director because you do see something in them, and you do see that growth, and you do see that potential. But again, it's like, I think it's tough. It's tough to call, right?
Yeah.
It's been a very interesting year and a half. But yeah, just keep working at it, and just keep focusing on short form stuff, and keep shooting. That's the big thing. Just keep shooting.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Random question here. Do you have any like hot picks of tools, apps, new equipment in the last year that you're like just kind of hot on your radar, or you like using, or
Yeah. Like in what setting for
as an AC or a cameraman,
Yeah,
cinematographer?
like a digital rangefinder?
Okay.
Awesome. So great. Like it seems
Yeah.
so simple, but
Yeah.
literally just like point it, click it. Okay, cool. And again, that we talked earlier about like that traditional kind of measuring and tape
Right.
and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's like, don't forget that can be a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're not going to get a rehearsal 9 times out of 10. So actually, funny enough, for the Toby shoot, when I was firsting that, wide open 1.4,
Yeah.
Steadicam tracking shot.
Mm.
We had about 2 or 3 minutes before the take. I
Oh,
went
wow.
into the rooms and I realized that they were perfectly 2 6x6 boxes, basically, of either room, kinda, with more or less. And I realized, as long as I can chart that distance and I know those geographic marks, it's a lot easier to pull focus, because the WCU4 has those marks in
Yeah.
it, right? So I think things like that, and like taking the time to do that,
Yeah.
helps you nail it on the first take, right? And it's like when they're spending that much on the take,
Yeah.
you want to nail it on the first take.
Yeah.
So things like that really help, and again, it's like knowing that is super helpful, and I think, and it's like, okay, it's like, all right, I don't have a WCU4. It's like, all right, map it out on the nucleus, dude. Like
Mhm.
like get the spike tape, map it out,
Yeah.
your lenses, do it the not the right way, because everyone's process is different, but it just going a little bit extra in your prep, going a little bit extra
Mhm.
on the day, and be like you tell the first AD, like, okay, no, I need an extra 10 minutes
Yeah.
to build camera. It's like, no, I want to map out these lenses. It's like, we're working on this zoom all day. I want to map it out on my fizz.
Yeah.
Like,
It's worth it.
it's worth
a
it.
little
Yeah,
bit of time.
exactly. And
Yeah.
and it's like, again, I'm not union. I'm not any crazy kind of I'm not a goat at any means, but it's like, I think those little things really, it also makes you look a lot more professional, and it looks that confidence of, what you're doing, because
Yeah.
it is another tool to help you just nail it on the first take.
That shows them that you care
Yeah.
about
Yeah, and
doing
I
good
think
work.
caring is so important, because it's like, I feel like there's so much more grace to someone who's like genuinely, it's like, if I see you just like profusely sweating and like putting your all in it, and it's like, I know you're, especially if
Right.
you're an AC, you're glued to the monitor the whole
Yeah.
time, just like your hands
Yeah.
are just literally
Yeah.
trying to do. It'd be one thing, it's like, have a crappy energy and just
Yeah.
like,
Just kind of like,
yeah,
checking your
whatever,
phone,
or
whatever,
you know, and I think I'm gonna be very careful what I say, but it's like, I think especially with some of more veterans and a lot more people that have seen a lot more work, and it's like, okay, whatever, this is just the XYZ
Right.
shoot, and I get it. It's like, when you do this for a career, it's like some projects are going to be a lot more exciting than others, but I can hear production coordinators and producers complain about old heads, and it's like, I can feel that energy, and it's like, that's interesting why like a lot of these new apps like Nova and a lot of these like kind of more younger based kind of hiring platforms are very tailored towards us, because I was hired on one as a first, and I asked them like, why'd you use Nova? And they were like, we don't really want to have to deal with like a a union minimum and we're going to
So
be
interesting.
10 minutes over and it's going to be a meal penalty. And it's like, we know like if we just hire someone that's like competent and young, they're
Mhm.
just going to be like, cool, day rate, that's fine.
Yeah.
Happy to be on set.
But some people can't do that, right? Because they have
Right.
mortgages and they have kids
Right.
and they have it.
Mhm.
And it's like, I totally respect that.
Yeah.
But right now it's like, what is the union work, especially in this city? It's like
Right,
it's looking
right.
different in Dallas, it's looking different in Austin, it's looking
Mhm.
different in these different markets that I have a handful of connections in, but you know, here in Houston it's like I don't necessarily know if it's fair to keep every set to that standard, because I don't think every set needs that standard nowadays.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's
It's all to scale again.
Yep.
Back to
Yeah.
you know
Spectrum
what
for sure.
depends on what
Yeah.
your budget is and
Mhm.
and your goals are on the set.
Yeah.
And who you've worked with in the past too. You know. So.
and I definitely think that's something super essential for when you're getting started. It's like I say, like, befriend the people that are doing the work you want to do.
Mhm.
Like, genuinely, like, I like some of my most just like earnest and probably my most worthwhile collaborations and connections have been genuinely just people I've tried to get to know to as like
Mhm.
I was working with this one director. I didn't shoot anything for him till about 8 months.
Mm.
And it's just his friend.
Yeah.
I went to his wedding, like just like very sincere.
Hey, if you do his wedding, then you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You're-
I'm so
you're
excited
circle
for the
of trust.
feature now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like I think I think it's super important, especially networking, is like making sure people know that you care about them first,
Mhm.
because they're about to trust me with like $2,000, $3,000, like $5,000 on these budgets.
Right.
It's like, and that's on the indie scale, right?
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
they really want to make sure that you have their priorities
Right.
in check,
Mhm.
and not I'm just trying to get this for the gram. I'm just trying to get this for my reel. I'm just me.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
no, I care about
It's
this
serve-
story
yep.
because
Yeah.
this is a personal story about loss of family, and like, no, I care about like your growth as a director, and that mutual kind of investing into both of us. It's like it's super essential. So it's like I think that's one thing starting out, of like try to be very genuine
Yeah.
in those connections, and it could be different, right? Like could be a producer, could be, you know, a camera operator that you really respect their work, and it's like you want to be there first because you think they genuinely have great operation, right?
Yeah.
I think it's very important to be authentic,
Mhm.
and I think some people could come off maybe a little bit more ingenuine if they're not as seasoned.
Mhm.
And it's like I
yeah.
think people in this industry can smell that quite fast.
Yeah.
So it's like
Definitely.
try not to abuse that
Mhm.
that trust or that respect or,
Yeah,
or
that's
that.
good.
I don't know. I think it's harder for some people than others, but I think it's super essential.
Really quick, one and done camera. Kit, camera and lens.
Like if
Ooh.
Yeah,
like
one and
What's
done.
the project?
like
no, this
island-
is one and done. Don't think about project. This is one and done.
So
I'll go first.
like forever.
like
yeah.
a desert island kind of.
yeah,
or-
Desert Island. Yeah. For me, it's the FX3 and a 24-70
Okay.
2.8.
Okay.
No, you go next.
No, I gotta think. I'm like cycling through all the
Is this
combinations.
by myself or do
Yeah,
I have a
you're-
crew?
you're-
Do I have a crowd?
Do I have a loader?
How big is the
Do I
crew?
have a
Yeah.
loader?
Don't think about.
Do I have an AC at all? Yeah.
Don't think about anything. Just the question. Answer the question.
Oh my gosh, that's too hard.
Yeah.
Probably my iPhone.
Mm.
No.
16, 15. What are we talking?
Yeah.
With the SSD.
SSD. Yeah. Get the
Let's see.
Atomos.
How about a Sony F900 with
Ooh.
PS Technic 35 adapter and a
Ooh.
Ingenue 24 to 290?
Ooh.
No, I don't
Expensive.
want that one, but it would be
Have you shot on the 24 to 250, the old one,
uh
the chunky one?
Yeah.
yeah the cook or
The
yes.
Ingenue. The
Yes.
Ingenue. Yeah.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah, I shot on that, man. That
Yeah.
Beautiful glass, but man.
Beautiful, and it's a little bit it's a little not spicy. It's a little funky. I
The
remember
breathing
last-
is like very interesting. And like so when I shot on that, we didn't change the focus at all.
really.
It was all just like
I think it's only like T4 or T4
3.9.
3.9.
Like
yeah.
3.7, I think
yeah.
when you rehouse it, it's like 3.9 or something.
Yeah.
Very interesting glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's like, you know, you need an hour to build that.
Yeah.
Right. Especially.
I'll say maybe I'll take a 35 well, I was gonna say Master Prime, but no, it's too heavy. Let me go.
Ooh, I know what lens I need. Okay.
Super speed.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Man of taste, man of class.
What going back the first series, the uncoated ones.
Non-coded.
Yeah. With SR2.
Ooh.
No,
Okay.
it won't fit that camera though. So let me go to
The SR3.
You're just thinking out loud right now.
a
just, like,
16.
cycling
I'm
through, I
using
can
a
see you
I'm using a
cycling.
35 millimeter lens with a 16 millimeter camera. That won't work.
The super speeds with the bayonet mount, maybe.
Yeah. Well, there were super speeds for the
Yeah,
16 too. Yeah.
yeah.
I've only used the 35 one, so I don't know that on a red one.
I probably perhaps maybe not my most practical combination, but I don't care. Lexa Mini, and then I worked at a rental house that had the Baltars, the original Baltars.
Yeah.
Beautiful glass.
Yeah.
So I think if I only have one lens, I probably would do a 40 because that's rated more or less rated for the human eye. So
Yeah.
and that was the focal length that we used because again, like Indy. So like we rented that for a thesis I had, and it was the Alexa Mini, and then I chose the 40 and the 18. I wanted kind of the super voyeuristic kind of look.
Yeah.
And I love the 40. I used the 40 like pretty much the most. Yeah, I love the 40. 40 is my favorite focal length for sure. So it's like I'd probably take the 40 and the Mini.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just to me it's like classic. Can't go
Good
wrong with
combo.
it. Yeah.
Good combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think ironically now I'm like trying to think of like how do you go against trends. I'm like, okay, let's shoot on really long lenses. Let's shoot on like 1,000.
Yeah.
Let's shoot on like 500 millimeter. Let's
Yeah.
try to
Let's
make it like really annoying to build.
Yeah.
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 We still need the super wide iPhone lens
The
equivalent.
0.5, yeah.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
0.5
Yeah, the one people put over your head.
with the
Take
with the correction it does with the
Yeah.
so there's no barrel distortion on it.
I can't wait till Alexa.
Leola maybe has them.
I
Who
can't
does?
wait till the
Yeah.
Ari makes a 360 camera. That's gonna go crazy.
Oh my gosh, it'll be heavy though.
But it's interesting. I mean, I think the best way to show where the industry trends are going is to look at the manufacturers.
Mm.
And it's like, why did Ari, Ari was the cinema filmmaking. Why did they
Mhm.
make a broadcast camera? I think that's really interesting.
Mhm.
Of like,
The
okay,
lives, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
like maybe it's safe to say that that's the future of our industry of like lives.
It has been a big trend really since the Varicam came on
Yeah.
on
Yeah, yeah.
board with all the tools it had to do live tallies and all that kind of stuff. So I think Ari's been eyeing that for a long time. We're like, we'll see,
Yeah.
but
Then
it's
now you
so
got more
widespread
yeah.
now with
And it's like, especially when you think about a company like that, it's like they've invested so much R&D, they must know something,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right? So
right.
it's interesting. I think you never know though.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like I think
well, good stuff. So how do people find you, connect with you?
So it's literally just my name, Andrew Parkerton, Parkerton. Yeah. So pretty much just andrewparkerton.com, at Andrew Parkerton. Yeah, man.
Good
You want my
branding.
social?
Mm-hmm. Easy
Yeah.
to find.
Easy find. Anything else?
No?
It's a good interview. A lot of
Thank
good
you, guys.
stuff.
We could talk
Really
forever
interesting.
and
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think half the listeners are like, I don't even know what they're talking
They're
about.
like,
anymore.
what's a WCU4?
Google.
But
That's
yeah.
a lot of letters and a lot of numbers.
Yeah. Math and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, hey, great to have
Thank
you.
you guys so
Andrew.
much. I
Nice to
really
meet you. And until next time, guys, we'll see you on Set Life.
Thank you again so much.
Bye.